Well, hello there and good day. Thank you for joining me. I am Bros PDP, and today we're playing Crusader Kings 2, Jade Biz, episode 65. Only we're not quite playing. We're watching. So for 65, 66, and 67, that's the next couple of episodes. My microphone wasn't working, and I only found that out when I was live streaming when people started messaging me with, "Hey, you idiot, your microphone isn't working." So that's really unfortunate because honestly, it's been so long since I even looked at this video that it's hard to remember what the heck I was doing. I probably should have fixed this as soon as I recorded it, but I was really just too ashamed of myself, which tells you about how far that goes. So I'm going to have to sort of go off of memory here, but it looks like I'm getting ready to go to war for Scotland. Uh, there may be spoilers, by the way, because I am actually up to episode... what episode am I up to? 83, and I plan to play a little bit after I get done recording this one. I'm going to do like one voiceover a day. Try to keep you guys entertained. I don't want to skip like 3 episodes. That would really be foolish. The title for this episode is going to be something like Political Maneuvering for Pictland, which is, every time I save an episode, I record my thoughts on it. Very brief notes. So yeah, we know we're going to face a world war for Pictland. We got to kind of knock it out fast. But because the war goal is way isolated, there's no one that can show up to surround me and really screw me over, which is advantageous. My guess for what I'm doing right now would be just assessing who I can raise where, what claimants I have. I might not have figured it all out yet. Demanding a religious conversion is always a good idea. At least almost always gonna. Believe it or not, I think I'm still on the same character. This dude lives to be like really old. I don't remember how old. I'm up to 65, I think. And that's a good little note. We're gonna be with the same character for a while. He's gonna have a lot of interesting things happen when he finally passes away. Yeah, just checking stuff. Yeah, I just realized I have sisters that I can marry, and that I can maybe use this to sort of arrange for victories. But though, note that Futuros, my heir, is actually a Orthodox. That might come into play later. I'm just looking for possible claimants. No big deal. Nothing special. I mean, it's just like, hey, here's stuff happening. Thinking about who I can maybe get to be a matrilineally married character so that my dynasty eventually inherits the land. It makes it just a lot better. And lo and behold, there's this guy, Lutz. He has a claim on Scotland, but a weak claim. But because Scotland is in revolt right now, I can actually make that work. That eliminates any dynastic inheritance issues. She's a very suspicious woman. But she's going to eventually be married to a ruler. Or so we hope, anyway. Maybe there's a better alternative. We're going to build him a little castle so that he has land, so that when I take the Kingdom of Scotland over, he stays my vassal. And this is a typical early to mid-game, depending on your size, strategy, especially when dealing with defensive packs, is to be able to take really large chunks of land really easily. So getting all of Pictland out of the way in one gulp makes me stronger, gives me one less enemy to have to fight, and, by getting these big chunks out of the way earlier, it keeps the overall strength of the enemies weaker. Like France, when I took Germany, which used to be East Francia, that was huge. Speaking of France, you might notice that Saxony has a little bit of blue in it right now. That's probably a problem for later on. It's kind kind of fun watching this in retrospect, sort of. Like, hey, what did I do here? What could I have done better? Getting these boats together, for example. Pay my passage. I'm not going to say I believe the stories, but we've picked up some promising information, my lord, Despot Victorio says. However, we could do with some more supplies if we were to journey even further. In fact, I would like to send word to hire scouts in certain more distant regions if we are to follow the leads and continue this mission. He pauses at the door, his posture strained. Of course, there are other ways to reach eternity, he sighs. When you open your mouth to respond indignantly, he interrupts you. I suppose the attitude comes with the job, master. My apologies. My prostrator exits the room, his steps growing fainter as you consider your options. Yeah, I'm gonna just spend a bunch of money. Because why not? But wait a minute, what if I don't have that kind of money? There's one way out of this problem, and that's our good old-fashioned friend ransoming all of our vassals. And yeah, that's gonna take some time, but that's what we're gonna do, and hopefully not cause too many revolts in our own lands, because, you know, whatever. That tends to happen to me. I tend to think, oh, look, I can revoke this guy. Or imprison this guy, rather, and then it doesn't end well. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the quality of this, but, you know, there's not much I can do about it now, I guess you could say. You can even see me, you know, with my recording device. At least according to the preview. So that's neat. Boo! I should probably... No! I want to move this off to be, like, out of the way. Yep, ransoming people. At least I haven't deleted my retinue again. That was embarrassing. And occasionally there's people who can't afford to pay. But that's the way things go. I can just release them for opinion. I'm sure there are faster ways to do this, but when I hover over the buttons, it doesn't tell me any, whatchamacallit, hotkeys. Which is kind of irritating. Anyway, a good amount of money is going to come out of this mess. That's always a plus. Ormond is always sort of a problem province for me. Byproduct of the marriage that brought most of Wales under my control. I'm not sure what I'm looking for here, to be honest. I think I'm just peeking. I don't know. It's weird. What am I doing? I really don't know. I guess I'm cheering my my guy on. You know, it wouldn't be bad if my dynasty took that title, but then again, that guy's on my council, so I'd vote against it. Trying to keep my dynasty members from screwing each other over too badly is a way to make sure your dynasty stays strong. Kind of self-evident, but it's not something to ignore entirely. I know a lot of players seem to like not put so much stock into their dynastic strength. I know that having a lot of people in your dynasty with land generates a lot of people's claims against you, which can be problematic, but it's really not the end of the world. On the upside, I just watched Last Jedi, and I'm not gonna. And I know it's pretty well after the movie released. It's the 12th when I'm voicing over this. And I know a lot of people have seen it, but I'm still gonna give spoilers. I'm just gonna say like I don't quite get what happened with Luke at the end there. Like I have questions about the narrative structure of what happened to Luke Skywalker. I don't mean like the time that he was gone. I get that he did stuff and he had a temple and all that. We all know that happens, but I don't understand the final battle. I don't understand why that played out the way it did. It seems kind of pointless. I understand why he did what he did. From a, hey, this is how the battle's outcome is going to play into things. I just don't understand why he chose that particular method of fighting. You know, being as I'm in Dragon Ball 1. It honestly reminds me of Ten Shinhan using a bunch of clones to pull a guy over a cliff when he could have just used one. It really doesn't make sense. It's really stupid. I'm sorry if I just spoiled, like, Super from 3 months ago, but... Yo, that's anime. Yeah, I gotta keep up on that. It's Super, man. Jedi's a big production. It's a 2.5 hour long movie. You gotta sit down, you gotta watch it all. If Super is a weekly thing, you gotta be addicted to that. That's like... That goes straight in the veins, man. I couldn't tell you what I am doing with this guy. I suppose I'm just going to ransom him. I thought maybe there was some use to him. We're finally on a time run. We're going to think about things more. Wow. I would normally do this off screen, but bankruptcy is a thing, and I don't want the negative modifiers that I'm probably going to get for being over the under the bankruptcy, you know, out of money. That, yes, I'm broke, and it's going to cost me probably a bunch of negative modifiers on my provinces. Which is sacrificing short-term growth for long-term pain, but... Kind of depends on how long you have the negative modifiers. See, yep, there we go. I accidentally tried to imprison a guy who I shouldn't have tried to imprison. I wonder if there's the option, like if you're playing as a vassal and you get imprisoned and you escape, I wonder if there's an option to not rebel, or if it's an automatic revolt against the rule of. You know, that's just got me thinking. I wonder if this is totally like unrelated to anything, but I wonder if monarchs of the like 15th, 16th century told themselves that the Republic of Rome just went as far as it could, and that monarchy was needed after that strength. And we live in an oligarchic republic, sort of, kind of, bordering on a kleptocracy, kakistocracy, but yeah, that's the thing. This is actually opportunistic. As you can see, we're going after Antioch. There's basically a revolt that was easy to grab, so we're going to be holding on to that for a while. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that wasn't Antioch. That was just the guy we had as a revolt. Now we can grant it to this guy. And I almost granted him my capital. And now I'm just loading my boats up with guys. And here comes all the ransom notes that haven't already come in. She's a count of mine, but she marries the King of Norway, which creates some inheritance problems later down the road. Nothing major, but just worth noting. So, he's defending against heathens. That's a problem. Can't declare war while I have levies raised, however. Cornwall's like, I'm going to jump in. Apparently Pictland wasn't even defensive pacted against me, which was interesting. Here comes the crazy Viking war music. And my family member is the son of Lucifer. Strangely enough, I didn't die from him yet. So I am not directly at war with the revolt. Which makes for some weird issues in terms of victory. We're going to get a declaration of war against him. Except we're not. Anyway, the good news is we have plenty of money and plenty of retinue to just tear down stuff. We can blitz siege everything quickly and easily. And if you think this war is going to be a challenge, you haven't been paying attention. The biggest threat is just going to be making sure everything that we siege down stays under our control. See, like this, we accidentally just siege something down for somebody that's not us, which is annoying. But anyway, this is about where we wrap up. I want to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really does help the channel grow. It lets me know you're watching so I can make more of it. And it really does make me feel good from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry again about the no mic situation, or that this is a voiceover as opposed to a live broadcast, or at least a live recording. Things happen. You know, you make mistakes. I'm not a professional. Anyway, as always on this channel, La Paz.